Good morning, everyone. I'm Brennan Hinson, and for this presentation, I will talk about how new technologies like AI, drones, GIS, and IoT are changing the way that we handle emergencies. I'd like to keep it to about 5 minutes, hit the main points, and I've pulled from some recent real-world examples and government sources in this presentation. A quick roadmap so you know where we're going. I'll start with the bigger picture, why this stuff is so important. Then I'll walk through the main technologies with some examples from Ian and Helene, and then we'll talk about some downsides and risks, because not everything can be good news in emergency management. I'll also wrap up with where things are headed and the big main takeaways. So why are we even talking about this? Two big reasons. First is disasters are getting more complicated and more frequent. Climate change definitely affects this, but development in risky areas is also a key factor. We are also generating way more data than any EOC team can realistically process during a big event. The opportunity here is using technology to cut through the noise and give decision makers clearer pictures faster. An important point though, this new information needs to support NIMS and ICS, not replace the human side of emergency management. That's an important concept that will show up again in this presentation. AI specifically is showing up in a few practical ways right now. AI has predictive modeling, which can help us forecast where flooding or fire spread is most likely. Additionally, computer vision on imagery can flag damaged structures way quicker than manual review. And natural language processing helps to sort through social media and calls to figure out what is actually happening on the ground. The Ian example is pretty striking. They were able to get tens of millions out the door faster because AI helped triage the damage assessments. The key thing I want to emphasize, though, is AI is just a support tool. It will not be replacing the incident commander or the planning section. It can just give them clearer information at a faster pace. Drones have also become pretty essential in the first 24 to 72 hours after a big disaster. When roads are flooded or blocked, they can still get overhead and show us what's going on. Thermal cameras are especially useful for search and rescue at night or in rubble. The newer piece is that AI is starting to analyze the drone footage automatically, flagging damaged buildings or debris piles so humans don't have to watch every minute of video. After Helene, teams used drones to map debris across a huge area, which helped move recovery funding requests along faster. It's a good example of how these tools work together. GIS has been around in emergency management for a while, but GeoAI is making it more powerful by automatically pulling useful information out of imagery. The big value here is the common operating picture. Everyone is looking at the same map with the same layers. On the IoT side, sensors give us continuous data on water levels, weather, and air quality. Digital twins are interesting too. You can simulate a hurricane hitting your area and test your plans without anyone actually being in danger. And when traditional comms go down, things like Starlink are keeping response teams online. These systems work best when they're feeding into each other. Alright, now the part that doesn't get talked about as much. These tools can come with real downsides. AI can have bias problems. If it wasn't trained on certain types of communities, it might miss damage or needs there. Privacy is another issue. People don't always love the idea of drones flying over their neighborhoods or their social media posts being scanned during a crisis. We also have to be careful not to get so dependent on technology that we lose basic skills or get stuck when systems fail. And honestly, the equity question is huge. Smaller or poorer jurisdictions might not have access to these tools at all, which can make the gap between places even bigger during disasters. These aren't reasons to avoid the tech, but we do have to think about them. I wanted to show two quick real-world examples of these tools in action. After Ian, the combination of AI and imagery let FEMA move money out the door faster by reducing how many properties needed boots-on-the-ground inspections right away. After Helen, drone teams were able to cover huge areas that were hard to reach on the ground, and that data helped push recovery funding along quicker. In both cases, it wasn't one single technology, it was layers working together. That is probably the biggest lesson. Looking ahead, DHS and others are working on making AI a real partner in the EOC, not just a tool you query, but something that helps surface issues and options. We are also going to see better integration between all these systems. But the takeaways I want to leave you with are pretty straightforward. Technology is powerful, but it still needs good human judgment on top of it. The real wins happen when the tools talk to each other. And we have to be intentional about equity and ethics, or we risk making things worse for the communities that need help the most. For those of us going into this field, learning how to use these tools responsibly is going to matter. Here are the three main sources I used, the DHS, EMOTR, and for the forward-looking stuff, Esri for the Ian example, that $78 million number, and RAND for the broader AI overview. Thank you for your time.